So what are the best chicken breeds for backyard laying hens? If you're thinking about getting chickens and you want to know what breeds you should select, this video is for you. Let's jump into it. If you're just getting started with chickens, choosing the right breed is going to be incredibly crucial. There are a lot of breeds out there, so it can be a little bit confusing, but what you don't want to do is get the wrong ones. There are a lot of breeds out there that are exotics, that have crazy fluffy feathers. There are also hybrid breeds. Both exotics and hybrid breeds, in my opinion, you want to avoid. You want to get what I would call a dual purpose chicken. These are tried and true breeds. They've been around a long time. And all dual purpose means is that when that chicken gets towards the end of its laying life, meaning it's slowed down and it's not really producing you eggs anymore, you can then butcher that chicken and it be what's called a stew hen. So that would be a hen that you would throw in the crock pot. It would be something you want to slow cook because the meat's not going to be very tender if you cook it quickly. The thing I love about dual purpose chickens is they're really hardy. They can handle different temperatures, different climates. They have a little bit of meat on them, so they're not small birds. They're not really flighty, and they're going to try to fly over fences like you'll get with hybrid birds. Hybrids tend to be really thin, and they may lay you a lot of eggs in the first year or two, but after that, they're going to slow down tremendously. Those hybrid breeds are marketed as laying you a ton of eggs, but they're kind of like a race car. They're meant to lay you a lot of eggs for a short amount of time. The dual purpose breeds that I would recommend to you, and these are ones that I personally have had or love, are the Rhode Island Red and the Barred Rock. These are two of my top breeds. I've had these type of chickens forever. The other breeds you could look into are Australorps, Wyandottes, the Buff Orpington. There's a lot of dual purpose breeds, but I would say those are my favorite 3 to 5 chickens. If you just stick to those, you're gonna not only get around 250 eggs per year, but you're also gonna have a chicken that does well in your climate and it's gonna lay you a good amount of eggs over a decent period of time. Now I wanna quickly talk about today's video sponsor, which is Scratch and Peck Feeds. Now Scratch and Peck makes some of the best feed in the country. It's produced here in North America, grown here in North America from regenerative farms. It's non-GMO, certified organic, soy and corn free. We've been getting our chicken feed from Scratch and Peck since 2019 actually, long before I even started making YouTube videos. So I truly believe in the product. And if you read the ingredient label of chicken feeds, you're actually gonna be pretty shocked of what they traditionally put in feed if you go down to the local feed store. Read the ingredient list and then compare it to what is in Scratch and Peck feeds. Organic barley, organic wheat, organic flaxseed meal, really high quality stuff. If you want to check out some of their feed, I'll have a link down in the description. Let's jump back into the video. One thing to remember with chickens is eggs are a little bit of a seasonal item. When you look throughout nature, what do birds do? Well, they typically lay their eggs in the spring, and that's typically the way a chicken is going to operate too. They operate based on day length. And so when the days start to get long in the spring and things begin to warm up, that's when chickens are going to lay the most amount of eggs. They're going to lay heavier in that time frame. And then as summer comes along, they'll taper down. That egg production will taper down a little bit. And as you get into fall and the day length begins to shorten, the temperatures begin to fall, they're going to begin to lay less eggs. They go into molting season. And so think of it kind of like a curve. That curve is going to be pretty steep in the spring. It's going to start to level out in the summer. And then as fall begins to approach, that egg production is going to begin to go down. So you can use artificial lighting, you can use supplemental heat, things like that in the winter to increase egg production. I don't recommend that. I think just allowing the chickens a resting season is really helpful, but just take that into account with how many chickens you're getting, because again, in the winter, if those chickens aren't laying near as much, then you got to think about where's your egg production going to be and how many eggs do you need for your family. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, if I had to bring it down to my 2 favorite breeds that I just don't think you can go wrong with, Rhode Island Red and Barred Rock. I've had hundreds of those chickens before and they do fantastic. Now you may be asking, where do I get these chickens from? Well, that's a fantastic question. Most people are going to get their chickens from a hatchery, and unfortunately the way the industry works is they ship you freshly hatched baby chicks in the mail, and those chicks survive without food or water for the first 48 to 72 hours. Now, it's not an ideal situation, but unfortunately in the world we live in today, it's most common. Now, hatcheries that I really like, I personally ordered from Cackle Hatchery. It is in Missouri. It's a smaller hatchery, but another popular one is McMurray Hatchery. and you could potentially find someone that's hatching Rhode Island Reds or Barred Rocks or some dual-purpose chickens like that around you locally. It can be a little more difficult to find, but I would really encourage you to get and start with baby chicks. I think the process of raising those chicks teaches you a lot. It also is a really enjoyable process versus just buying adult chickens already. And so I would encourage you to jump in, get those baby chicks, get set up with a brooder, and just really enjoy the journey. If you want to watch a full video on how to raise laying hens from start to finish, watch this video now.